I'll be in the.
Okay, well, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know, it's 7 o'clock in the evening here in Nova Scotia. I think it's 6 o'clock and 3 o'clock where you guys are, right? So
Yeah.
welcome and thank
Yeah.
you for being on the call. I know
I'm going to
summertime.
mute myself because I've got dogs in the background making noises. So I'm
Thank you,
watching.
Mary Ellen. Thank you. And Marissa, you're muted because your daughter's getting in the car, you were saying.
At 6:15, she's just finishing off her music lessons, and then she's gonna drive and I'm gonna listen.
Okay, all right, sounds good. And participate. So I know summer can be challenging. Everybody's got things on the go and, traveling. I guess I'm very time zone change challenged. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I was on this call at 3 o'clock, but it was 3 o'clock Atlantic time, so that didn't work. But that's good because I didn't have Wi-Fi and it wasn't going to work very well. I couldn't anyway. There were just too many complications. So I'm now back at the B&B that we're in, and easier to sit at the table with a glass of water and record from here. So let's start with triumphs of the week. What's been a triumph for you? Anybody want to start that?
Oh, I would say contacts. I'm not keeping track of them on paper, but it averages out to about 2 a day. So that's really good, and it's the end of the month, so I'm getting all my filters ready to be. Like I need many filters. So
Good. Good. So Paul, I have a question. Why aren't you writing down your contacts? Because that's one of the things what we measure matters. So is there something in the way of you writing down
well,
how many
they're
people
all
you
in because
contact,
they're all in
who
my
they are?
phone. They're all in my phone. It's not like I'm not writing them down. They're in my phone. It's just their frequency or their how many per day. I don't know. I guess because some of them, I don't know. I don't find that it would help me to do anything different. It would slow me down. So that's why I guess if you want an answer, I'm giving it to you.
Well, I get that as an excuse, not an answer, but that's okay. You've rationalized the fact that it slows you down if you write down 2 names a day. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, they're already in my phone.
Yes.
But to write them on a paper, yeah, that's an extra step.
I know, but to keep track. So how do you do your follow-up? Yes, they're in your phone in your contact list. So let's say you talk to Joe and Paul today. Do you also put in your phone when you're following up with them?
Because they're in there. They're in my messages because they've all been sent a playlist. I have them in my contact list. So I just look at the messages and I can go back and everything is absolutely there in sequence. So that's how I do it.
Okay,
So
I get it. Now I get that you are actually being very specific. Good work.
yes.
Okay, and the end of the month is today. So you're getting your filter orders in. Do you have any new consultants, anybody working towards executive or at executive this month?
Yeah, I knew 2 new consultants, but nobody's working yet toward executive.
Okay,
So
we're gonna work on that because that seems to be pretty common on the team and pretty common in Econ in general. So, any other triumphs, Paul? Yes.
no, this is good. I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, Paula, we're starting with triumphs. Have you got some for the week?
Sorry, I'm late. I had to get dog food, and today was Seniors Day, and I spent all day on the road, so I had to get to the pet store before it closed. Yes, triumph. My consultant Bela, she went silver yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Oh, yay!
This is a person who
amazing.
only
That's
wanted.
wonderful.
This is a person who only wanted to buy wholesale, had no intention of doing the business.
Awesome.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I've listened to her a lot on other calls, and her transformation is so dramatic and dynamic that people are going, what? So she's got
Yeah.
she's a walking billboard for
Yeah.
NECAN. That's great. So she went silver yesterday.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how many people are not specifically every day, but have you got an idea of how many new people you contacted this week?
I would say 5, but I don't think they're
Okay.
all gonna do anything. Nobody,
No, that's okay. We're
nobody's
just talking about how
interested
many
enough
times
to
did you
go through the
contact and invite?
process.
Okay, that seems to be a major stumbling block, and we're going to address that in the next few weeks because it's pretty normal. So thank you for your honesty on what's going on for you. Leo, how about you?
So I signed up another a new one this Monday.
Nice.
She have already
Mhm.
experience on MLM, network marketing with other company. She's is in another company, but I met her in the Zoom call with the business part. You see, I'm very active with the business group here in Quebec, like BNI. You know BNI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you have a big group here in Quebec, GR, it's a big one, biggest than BNI in Quebec. Okay, and I am a new member of this group, and the last 2 weeks before the holiday construction in Quebec, I do 8 meeting each week, and I talk about NECAN,
Mhm.
100 people each week.
Wow.
Yeah, I have just 1 minute to talking, just 1 minute,
Hmm.
but punch 1 minute. And on that Zoom and the last half hour, we have a break room, like 2 by 2 or 2, 3.
Yeah. Breakout
And
rooms.
yesterday, the guys in with me said, that's fine. I want to talk to you. Tell me something about you, Hansel. I need a book, new customer, new customer, and new consultant this week with that group. Okay,
Good. So how many consultants this month, Leo? Because I know you've had some
Two-
before
two,
earlier in
three.
the month.
2 or 3, I think.
2 or 3?
With-
Great.
2 or 3, I don't remember, but I have a lot of the last 6 months, 3 months, not 6 months, the last 3 months, I signed up or arranged a 6 new consultant, but
Good.
I have a 7 on the process. You don't decide if you're going to be consultant or customer or nothing. But I feed them. I feed video.
Yeah. Good, good.
See, every day I feed I have my
Good.
list here. So every day I make
Excellent.
average 2 contact, 2, 3 contact, and video on there, video on there. I never stop, never stop. It's easy.
Good, and you keep following up. I know that. That's great. So, 2 or 3 consultants this month. Anybody going for executive that you know?
Not yet, but
Not
next
yet?
month, not yet. But they
Okay.
signed it. They bought a few products, of course, but
Okay,
I never stop to see. It's for me,
right.
it's easy to do a contact with my
Good, good.
my
Okay, so
video.
we'll talk about moving people further into business builders today
Yeah.
and next week. Mary Ellen, how about you? Can you talk? You're muted, Mary Ellen. Maybe she's not available. Marissa.
Yep. So
Okay, are you ready, Mary Ellen, or Marissa? She's still muted.
Yes,
So go ahead.
I am. There'll be a little background noise,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay.
I've had some really good conversations with people. A couple people, I think 2 people seemed really quite excited to get more information. I had a couple funny, I just kind of asked someone that had never given me any indication of being particularly interested in health or wellness or anything, but I thought, well, why not just ask her? It won't hurt anything, and it'll strengthen my muscles. So I asked her, and she said, "Thank you, but I don't do YouTube." And so I just gave her a thumbs up, and that ends the conversation with her. But next, I mean, I didn't feel, the thing that's interesting is that I didn't feel the least bit bad about it. I didn't feel, I just thought, well, that's one more no out of the way, and the next one I can move to yes. I've got one person who is a customer of my daughter, actually, but we kind of work with her together, who is a cancer, she calls herself a cancer navigator. And that is actually a sub-profession in the healthcare industry in the United States. And her role, she has a business where if you get diagnosed with cancer, she takes you from diagnosis to either healing or death, and does everything from helping people get their insurance worked out, which is a big hassle in the US for some people, or I've seen her go to people's homes and rub cream on their back if their back was aching. And she likes our products. She's in love with our water. And so she's putting together a resource list of great things to do if you have cancer that are non-medical, and she's including our water in it. So I think that's kind of a triumph. We'll see whether it works or not.
That's great. Exactly. One bit by bit, we're opening the healthcare system to things that don't require drugs or surgery. So good for you. And what I'm hearing from everybody, well, Leo, you've been doing this a long time, so it feels easy for you. But what I'm hearing from people is the more you do it, the more no's you get, the more you just go, that's okay. That's not the person that, is right for me, and not taking it personally and moving on. So well done, Mariana. Okay, Marissa.
So on Monday, I was telling Paul earlier, my mom's in a nursing home, and I've got a great connection. My brother and I go there to visit her 2 to 3 times a week. And one of the nurses, she just lost her husband, and she came up to me and said, can I text you at night, like at 6 o'clock at night, but it's personal, please keep it private. So I said, of course, absolutely. So I thought it was more to do mortgages, because that's the first thing that comes to my head. So she had contacted me that night, and she's got a daughter that just got married, and she just lost her job. So we met on Monday for a coffee. And the first thing that I spoke, obviously we got to know each other. And for me, it was NECAN. And I introduced her I let her know my story and the reason why I joined and how I became a consultant and why I became a consultant. So she was very interested in learning more. So we connected on Monday. I have to reach out to her, and I told her I was going to send her a YouTube on our Tuesday calls. And I even invited her to come onto one of our calls. So it was positive. I saw her mom yesterday, and she thanked me for meeting her. We left on a positive note. So now it's just me following up to say, hey, would you like to connect on a call or, on the YouTube? And I've met 2 other people, again, within my industry. They're lenders, and they're not interested in the business, but they're interested in the product, which is the start. So they've already requested for my website for the gut health and the pink collagen. So little baby steps.
Those are great. Those are great. And you've had kind of a rough time this week and in the past. And as I said in my email to you, you just do not waver on your vision.
No,
and that is so important. And you really do light up when it comes to NECAN. And when you talk about mortgages, you go,
yeah, my daughter says it all the time. So before we came to her lesson, we set up a new email for myself, because we're setting up my Instagram account for NECAN, and which will be connected to a Facebook account. So right now, all my business cards, my website is connected to my current email address, but we came up with, so when I switched brokerages, I actually did a generic website, because my girlfriend knows that my mortgage business is temporary. So I did Marissa 007 as my website. So for my NECAN is Marissa 007 Health. And so my
Okay.
daughter, you know what, thank God for her, because this week, if it wasn't for her and my best friend, I think I would have just said, okay, guys, I'm walking away. And she's very like, no, what's your vision? Mom, you got this. And the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. And before we left, she made it her mission to make sure that I'm getting myself set up for a successful future.
Wow. Having that family support and friend support is huge.
Oh yeah.
Some people just don't have that, Marissa. So you've
Not at all.
obviously asked for them to, to be part of this, and they have said yes because they really support you. So that's a
Yeah.
real superpower right there.
Thank you.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
I'm grateful, and
It-
they know that. I tell them every day.
It is good having that support because my kids view NECAN as a cult and they have no
Yeah.
interest at all. But
I
can I
had-
Have you
mention
ever
something?
asked them why they think that, Paula?
No, no man is a prophet in their own land. If they heard the information from somebody else, they
Yeah.
would listen to it. But when it comes
Yeah.
from your mom, But
Yeah,
can I
That's
mention
why we do
something
three
about,
ways.
can I mention something about pain and pills?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not going to be published. This is just a private
No,
call.
I went and had surgery and I had
Oh.
a pretty big scar, lots of staples. And the doctor said to me, now I want you to take Tylenol and Advil, and I want you to alternate them every
Mm.
3 hours. And I said, I don't think so. And he said, well, you're going to need something for the pain. And I said, I have something for the pain. And I pulled out my
Power
magnet.
chip.
Yeah.
So
And does that
I've been wearing that over the incision since I had
Right.
the surgery last Friday, and I haven't had to take a pill for anything.
Awesome.
Right.
You
And
wearing
is that
what
a
over the
painful?
incision? What are you using?
I'm using a power chip, and then I've got a knee wrap on my elbow because elbow wraps are too skinny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
Don't
that's
forget
really
that
good.
Paul and Marilyn can't see when you hold things up, so
I forgot.
it's good
Sorry.
to say what it is. That's okay. No apologies needed. It's just an awareness. So yeah, and that's cool. And what did the doctor say about that, Paula? When you said I
Really?
don't need to.
Really? I gave him and the two nurses who assisted him in the surgery each business card. So.
Perfect.
All right.
And I told them, if you don't feel good every day, I said, go to my website and fill out the quiz. And I said, if you put your email in, they'll tell you what you need to do to feel good every day.
I like
Good for you.
that.
Good.
And Paula, I know where you're coming from when people say it's like when your kids say it's like a cult. I got that from certain family members until they actually drank the water themselves and until they started using the pink collagen. And I just sat there, smiled. I say it's
Well, my son's got the water system and they grew up sleeping on a sleep system. So,
Yeah, I know. You know what I say when people say they think it's a cult?
Mm.
I say, oh my God, I wish it was, because if it was a cult, people would do what I tell them to do.
Oh, I tell them, yes, it is a cult. Do you want me to show you the secret handshake? And they say, yes. And then I give them a left-handed hug.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. And some people just aren't willing to open. I like that you've got such a great sense of humor with that, Paula. Don't take it personally, right?
Well, I don't, because like 25 years ago when I started, all this magnetics and stuff was like voodoo, so we've come a long way.
We have.
Now we're just only a cult, right?
Yeah, that's right. I know people used to ask me if I stuck to telephone poles when I walk by because I wear so many magnets.
wow.
I just said, yeah, and can I call you if I need, help getting off? Anyway.
I just say, no, I don't stick to poles, but the fridge door keeps opening every time I walk by.
That's good. That's great. Okay, Paul, did you want to add anything? You know, I know you did say a little bit, you're doing at least 2 contacts a day, and you've got people in the process and working towards helping people move to the executive possibility, right? Is there anything else that you want to talk about at Triumph for a challenge?
Well, I think our children have grown up with all of this, so you can get by it. My daughter is a silver, and my son was kind of made a senior a long time ago. I think a couple of times, but now I really begin to think that he's in his early 30s. He's being knocked around a little bit. He's working, but yeah, he has no time and no money, but he's working. So he's more open. The other
Yeah.
two, it's still too easy. They're home, they have their jobs, they have no expenses.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
Yeah. People have to have those knocks around to appreciate that there is another way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Good. So it sounds like everybody's been really intent on contacting and inviting and keeping track in some way of who they've got in the process. How about follow-up? Any challenges with follow-up?
The only challenge is if people actually answer your text or your call for follow-up. But what I do is I give them a little bit of time, but not too much time. And then I do the same in my other world too. And then when they're ready, I won't give up on them, but I'll give them a breather.
Mm-hmm. And do you use
I'm
mostly
finding
the
we're in
phone
a
for your follow-ups, Marissa? Do you use the phone or texting or?
I do everything. Personal
Okay.
call, text, and email. That's what I've
Okay.
been at the very beginning. I'm a phone call girl. I don't like when people just text
Good.
me out. Again, like I said, I'm old school, and then from there I do the text, and then I do the email. I always been used to being accountable. I had an experience when I first started in the industry, and someone tried to pin something,
Mhm.
and I wrote down date, time, and everything to the minimum, and that person got in trouble. So that just stuck with me. So that's just embedded in my head.
Got it.
I had
Okay, well, good work. Good work. The thing that in talking to, Maureen and other people is we're really good at, like you were saying, Leo and Paul, that, getting some kind of relationship started through the first conversation, finding out what they're interested in and so on. That's called affinity. And I don't know if you remember the 5 steps that I sent to you guys on for enrollment. And without enrollment, and that means many things in different places. But if people aren't enrolled, if they aren't feeling that there's something in it for them, they're not very likely to go, any further. And sometimes they dismiss things just because they're busy or they haven't heard what would make a difference for them. So I'm just going to go to that text here for a sec. Was it a text or was it I thought I had it up here and then it's gone. Okay, I think it was an email. Yeah, for the 5 conversations. So the first one is conversations for feeling connected. I think you're all pretty comfortable with that, right? Is anybody not clear on what that means or?
You said that you sent it in an email?
I sent it, I sent it on WhatsApp a couple of weeks ago, 5 conversations. It's called the Technology for the Accomplishment of Enrollment, which is a lot of words, but it's basically how to get people from initial contact to enrolling in the business at executive level. Okay, I can also resend it, Paul, if you don't have it.
Yeah, I don't see it here.
Okay.
It was there. I did see it, but
Yeah,
I'll send it again.
I will, because it's a good refresher. So as we know, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. You've heard that before, right? From a
Yeah,
lot of
that's a
different people.
BNI slogan.
Right. So getting to know them, when do people really feel like you get them, that they've been heard? Do you know what to look for? When do people actually cross that from "Hi, how are you" to "Oh yeah, I get that you understand me"? What would be a clue that you get to that level?
They would tell you in some way.
Can you give me some examples, Paul, of that? There's
Um,
Lynn.
well,
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
it's something like let's get together, or let's have another chat, or let's they'll give you some kind of encouragement of some sort to continue. And
Right.
there's something I've just thought, I do a lot of business with Amazon, and I don't know anything about them or any of them, but it's just I'm buying from them. It's very different than going into business with somebody. That's where, you have to know and trust somebody. Because Amazon, well, they have everything that people want, so it's a different process. But maybe some people deal with Nikken products like that. But actually, our products, the reason why Nikken isn't in stores and on Amazon, because they understand that they need to be, there needs to be personal interaction relating to them, so that otherwise people won't know what they are, or what they do, or how they work, or anything. So that's why we have
Exactly.
to
And they
have
don't,
people.
and they would rather pay us than brick and mortar. That's the other point
They
about that.
would, yes.
Well, and it's a touchy-feely business.
It
You
is.
gotta
and it's-
touch the products, feel the products, experience the products.
Yeah.
If you saw a pair of insoles on a shelf, first of all, you'd have a hard time taking them off the shelf because they would be stuck to the shelf. But if nobody tells you what they can do for you or show them what they can do for you,
Yeah.
you're not gonna buy them.
That's right. So that's part of that process. So for people to know you as an Econ consultant, they need to like you and trust you as a person, but they also need to know what? What do they need to know? To make an
You know
informed
what
decision.
you know what you're talking about.
Right, but what information would they need to have in order to feel informed about
How
Nikken in
it's
order
gonna
to join
be-
the company?
How it's going to be beneficial for them.
Right, what's in it for them, how it's gonna benefit, how the products are gonna benefit them, and also how the business could benefit them. Because there are a lot of people, and I know Marissa, you know this from what's going on in your world, and Lynn with your family, these big corporations are not very user-friendly,
Nice.
let's say. They think nothing of just, you're out. They're like Donald Trump, you're fired, or we're shutting this down, too bad, so sad. Go away. And so people, I think, are a little nervous, and knowing that there's something here that is worth looking at. It's not just the products, it's the concept. I talk about, being in a transformational business, not a transactional business. And I wouldn't have joined Nikken if it was a straight transaction. I'm not interested in that. But the transformation that's possible in terms of the business skills you develop, the relationship skills that you learn. I mean, I find that what I've learned in Nikken, I can apply in all areas of my life. It's improved my relationships with my family, my friends, and definitely within Nikken. So we have their trust in terms of they like us. We've shown them that we are interested in what's in it for them. And then the process begins. Remember, that's the first, remember there are three conversations Mike talks about. The first one is the why conversation. Why would they even be interested? And sometimes they're not, and that's okay. But if they have something that they may not even be able to articulate, but if there's something missing in their life that we can give them a track to get to with support, that is the why conversation. What would be their reason? What's their why? I met a gal who did this B&B that we're at. She's 70 years old, her husband died, and she decided to buy this beautiful house and turn it into a B&B. And it's a lot of work. you know, it's a lot of work with the renovations, and I think we're the first tenants in this particular part of the place. And we said, you know, at 70, why would you do that? She said, I needed a purpose. She said, everybody needs a purpose. So if we can help people uncover, why are you here? Why are you on this planet? What's your purpose? Because Nikan is a pathway to purpose. And not just one purpose, but so many people's, you know, it may be the pathway to their financial purpose, their health purpose, their family purpose, any one of those 5 pillars of wellness. So I think that what I've noticed myself and others is we kind of move too fast in terms of not really clarifying what people's purpose is, what their why is. And until we hear it from them and we give it back to them in words that indicate we got it, we heard it, they don't really, because nobody's ever talked to them that way before. They don't really, it doesn't land unless we can articulate their purpose that they have identified to us back to them. So what I hear you saying, or whatever, however you want to phrase that, is, you know, you could have retired and you decided that you needed purpose, and this was perfect because you love being around, because she shared a lot about what her likes are. You like being around people. It's a place where your kids can come, and you know, it's right on the ocean here in Mahone Bay. So many things. So that takes a deep conversation. And looking at the second conversation, do you know what it means when I say creating from nothing? What does that
I had
mean,
a
creating
very-
or coming from nothing?
I don't know, but I had a very interesting conversation this week, and it was when the FedEx driver drove up and was delivering my auto ship, and I actually walked out to the truck, and seemed like I was really excited to get my package. And this driver was a new driver. I hadn't seen him before, and we talked a little bit, and I asked him, can you do me a favor? And he says, what's that? And I says, I'm looking for entrepreneurial people. I said, then I'd like you to think about who you might know. And he says, well, I'm entrepreneurial. He says, I'm a real estate agent and I'm doing this. And I says, well, who makes more money, the agent or the broker? And he goes, I don't know. I says, well, I said, no matter what you do, the broker gets a piece of it, right? And he goes, yeah. I says, well, I says, I'm like the broker. I says, I'm looking for people to be agents. And so if you know anybody that wants to do that, I said, or if you want to be a broker, I can show you how to be a broker. And that kind of caught his attention, and I gave him my business card. So I don't know where that's going to go, but it was that's
Okay,
something
so that's great.
that's something I learned from Lynn when she asked for a referral, and you know, she basically said what she was looking for, and she said to the fellow she was talking to, "Who do you know?" And he said, "I only know one person," but Lynn got his name, you know.
That's great. And
So,
that's the start of the process, right?
yeah.
And then following up. And that's the thing, follow up. Because if you give him your card and you don't follow up with him, if you don't get his information, people are busy. They lose business cards. They forget the conversation. They do this, they do that.
Yeah.
So one of the shifts that I've made is I get their information.
Well, I get
And
auto
then
ship twice a month, so I'm hoping to see him in 2 weeks.
Well, that's good, but 2 weeks is a long time. So
Yeah.
would it be, just imagine this, what if you said to him, would you put your contact information in my phone and I'll text you so you've got mine and we can carry this conversation on because you're working right now.
Mhm.
And I find that really effective because then, and I've tried both ways, believe me, I have just given them a card or given them my contact information on their phone, but they don't get back to me. But if I say, would you mind putting your contact information in my phone, and then I'll text you so that you've got mine, people go, oh, okay, that sounds good.
That's a good
Then you've
idea.
got that for following up. So that's just
Mhm.
one little thing that I've learned lately. So coming from nothing, and I think it's easy to come from nothing when you don't know the person because you don't have any filter about who they are, what they might, you know, like or dislike or anything, but if you, let's say you're used to talking to your son who thinks Nikan is a cult. So every time you have a conversation with him, you come to that conversation with that, whoops, what happened? There we are. With that in the background. Oh, he thinks this is a cult. So he's not interested, right? What if you came from absolutely nothing? There's nothing in between you there. You're not concerned about that. And you said to him, who do you know? Okay, same conversation you had with the delivery driver. You know, who do you know who's entrepreneurial? And, you know, follow up that conversation with him without that judgment that, well, he just thinks this is a cult, so he's not worth talking to about it, right? Would that work, Paula?
Maybe.
Okay, give it a try. Lynn, you missed the check-in. So what have you got for triumphs this week?
I did another ABC call, and it was a Sunday, and I'm just going to share this. I did this one with the same couple with Dave because it's a different approach. I've introduced them that Mike and Dave work together, and what I've done this time, instead of just doing a call and then waiting for a back and forth, what I have done is set up another call. In the meantime, there is work to be done, and we're going to have a start, what's the word? Total guidance,
Launch?
how you start. Yes, yes. And I think it was a relief because what I found out, my new couple started getting into, I want to call it hiccups. When you know nothing, they would approach people. Initial conversation is great, but by the time they have a second follow-up or third, there is cold feet coming along. And that's because they're new and they have not utilized the support of people above
Right.
them and so on. So that was great. I had a one-on-one with my hygienist, and
Mhm.
that was to follow up with the product and to book. I haven't done that. That's something I was going to say. When I used to do insurance sales, it's sales 101. You never expect the other person to contact you. You always take the number and make the appointment. So there's something that I have not done. I'm admitting it now, but I'm comfortable to do that. The only other part I want to share with the group, not because I'm going to be very straightforward. I am so limited, Maggie, because with two kids that I am responsible with at this age, really, really, really hard to get things done. But I am so grateful that I'm part of this, and you'll just see some incredible catch up with me when this when the school year
When
starts.
they're back in school. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
Maggie.
that.
Yeah, I just cannot on a daily basis sometimes stick to the schedule. There was one safety situation. I walked away and somebody was hurt a little bit, so I have to be mindful of that. They're only 5 and 3, so. But I am keeping up as far as focusing on what I believe is finding that first partner, which I trust that these couple are. We just got to get that momentum, that first check in the mail, and that's really what I've learned in the last little while. So I am focusing, like prioritizing where I need to be. My numbers as far as calling are very limited. Very limited.
Yeah, I get that.
I have,
And Lynn, I acknowledge you for your honesty, your candidness about that, and I totally get it. You have very limited time. And
Yeah.
you really use it well, and come September, that's gonna shift, but you're already laying the groundwork for, you know,
Yes.
launching this couple and bringing on other people, so, yeah, good for
I
you.
do, I do send out some flyers. I posted some flyers out there. I have to say that I do not have any results. The flyer has inviting people to contact me via QR code. Maybe you have
Yeah.
to have a lot more than what I have, but I haven't got any results from that.
Yeah, those kinds of campaigns only work in massive numbers.
Yeah, yes.
If you look at the
that makes sense.
research around email, you know, posters and things like that.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So, but
Maggie,
you know, it's still a good
wa-
thing to practice. Yes,
I
Paul?
wanted to say something. People, I did not trust my sponsor and I didn't know my sponsor. I didn't trust my upline until, because I thought they were all too salesy, until they introduced me to Bruce Black. And Bruce was great at, he'd give stuff. I mean, oh God, yeah, you might like this. I mean, Bruce was just amazing. And so that's the importance of these ABCs. They're so important because you might not think that you're coming across as salesy, but you don't know what other people are thinking. And it's really good to get yourself out of the way relatively early in the process because it it takes you out of that salesy position. It's super important.
I
If
agree,
I
and it
can
also shows people who are new that they don't have to know everything to do this business because third-party credibility trumps all.
The other part is, Maggie, I'm very proud to say we are associated with two incredible individuals. I'm using Mike and Dave working together, working on this expansion. Look how lucky we are that we have this support and you are there. I know Mike says, here's my number, call me anytime. And that was so powerful to them because all of a sudden it's not just Lynn that they have to come to. Look at all these people else that is
Yeah.
part of great expansion and just be proud of that and I have no issue other than to say, look at what we can support you with and
Mhm.
is act with gratitude, which I do.
Exactly. And one of the things we used to do more often than we do now, and it's really a good practice, is when somebody comes on board, you do a three-way with them with each of the upline, up at least 3 or 4 levels. And crossline if you've got support crossline like I am to you. But you know, people respond differently to different personality types, different language, different energy. So the more people you can introduce them to who are in Niken and supporting them, they'll go, wow, boy. Especially if you can say, this person is not connected to me financially, but this is the kind of business we have. It's a collaboration, the whole Niken community. And that impresses a lot of people who've been in a competitive environment like Marissa. And many of us, you know, when we worked. So, you know, even practicing a three-way with your upline and your upline's upline, or with Mike and Dave and me, if you introduce people that, you know, are in the process and wanting to look more at the business, get those three ways done as soon as possible, right, Paul? I mean, they're golden.
Oh yeah.
No.
I find too, if you
We
know
only have-
everybody else's story, if you're dealing with,
Yeah.
for example, next week, I'm going to be dealing with a massage therapist. So if I can hook her up with Sherry, you know, that
Right.
they speak the same language, right?
Yeah, yeah. Match. What do they say? Match the
Yeah. Match the,
hatch or
what
something.
was
So,
it?
yeah, putting people together. I thought it was
Match.
not match the hatch, match the something. So if you can put somebody who is a teacher with a teacher, or, you know, a plumber with a plumber, and, you know, somebody, you know, who is a, you know, a broker with another broker who's in Niken, that's really very powerful, very
Mhm.
powerful. Okay, so coming from nothing. Anybody want to comment on what that means to them? If you're having a conversation with somebody, even if you know them, what does it mean to come from nothing?
Is it like an unexpected, so you're having a conversation and then unexpectedly, they're interested in the products or interested in, having a conversation about joining? So you're not really targeting them. I don't know if that's a good word to say, targeting them to be a prospect, but they're kind of like Paula had an unexpected prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's part of it. And it's easy to come from nothing, which I'll explain a bit more in a minute, when you don't know the person. But when you know the person, we develop filters. I think I talked about this before. When you're talking to your spouse or your kids or your friends, you have a way of listening to them that becomes a habit over time. And when we do that, then we can't really listen totally because we're listening with a filter. So imagine if you never changed the filter in your vacuum, you wouldn't be getting very good suction, right? If you don't remove the filter in your mind when you talk to people, it's sometimes really hard to hear what they're saying because you've already got that message running in your head where they're going to say no anyway. And it could just be your filter, about sales or network marketing or whatever. Those filters can take you out so easily because then they're subconscious. They're subconscious.
Yeah.
So coming from nothing is like wiping the slate clean, letting go of all prejudgments or ideas about that person, and just coming from that place where you can have a conversation with them about the possibility, because this is all about possibilities, having a conversation with them about the possibility that might be there for them in this business, because there's so many possibilities, mind, body, family, society, and finances. There's all of that. And if we come from nothing, we can hear where they're coming from better. So
The others, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
that's
interrupt.
okay. I'm just going to say, just take that minute before any conversation to take a breath and release all those prejudices, those filters, those preconceived ideas. Mary Helen, go ahead.
The other side of it is when I can see the beauty of the fit for a person, and I assume that they ought to automatically see it too. It's the same coin.
That's right.
But it's the other side of the same coin.
Exactly. Don't assume, right, Mary Ellen?
Yeah, it is.
Really come from that nothingness and make sure that you feed back to them what you heard. So with that driver, Paula, if you said, it sounds to me like you're entrepreneurial and you're already doing two things, and you might know some people that are also entrepreneurial, or it might be something you'd like to look at. Is that accurate? And they'll either say, well, I'm not interested, but yes, I'll certainly think about other people. Then you get clarity about where they are at that moment. And they're a moving thing, right? People can change from, I'm not interested, to, yeah, pick me. So we need to be always coming from that nothing, from that openness about what is the possibility for this person based on what they're sharing with me. What could I contribute to them that could be a possibility for them getting what they want out of life? Okay. So that's just looking at the first two pieces in that conversation. And what we're going to talk about next week is how to make sure that we're clear about the measures that they would need to take. Because some people, they join the business and, like your couple, Lynn, they aren't clear on the processes. And I often say to people when they're new, don't talk to anybody. I know it's tempting, especially if you've had a great project experience. Do not talk to anybody. It's like if you went into first year university to become a doctor, let's say, and you went out and tried to do operations. That doesn't make sense. You want to be a doctor, but you don't have the training yet to be effective. So hold your horses, hold back on that and really think about the process, because this is and Leo's got this nailed. There's a system. If people can be trained in the system and apply the system with support and with, encouragement, they're much more likely to have success than if they just go out and start saying, and they'll probably make medical claims and all kinds of things, which we don't want out there because that's not helpful. So ask them to kind of, get fully trained before. And being fully trained is going through that process. Make your list, create your vision, all those things that we talk about. So it's not a difficult business, but it has a lot of moving parts. And I think, the more we're aware of that without overwhelming ourselves about it, the better we are at helping people to, to follow the process that works. And little bits,
But
We-
remember,
sometimes I'll say-
Maggie, excitement versus knowledge on ice. So what you're saying is true, but there's something else. There's something about excitement that it just
Right,
really
absolutely.
works.
We don't want them to not do anything until they're fully trained, and we want them to be like Marissa and Bela, they're excited, and there's an energy that gives for sure. So it's a balance of those two, because somebody out there saying all kinds of stuff that may not be true or may be misleading, whatever, is not helpful either. So it's a good blend. Thanks, Paul, for that notification of, yes, and. Okay.
The other
All right.
part,
So
Meg-
end of the month, we've got a new silver on the team. Yay, Paula, way to go. We've got several consultants over the month. We've got people in action. We've got people having challenges and like Marissa, the vision, go back to the vision. Don't lose the vision, and garner that support from friends and family. If you see me getting off the rails, just say, hey, I remember Paul, when you were so excited. So what's up with that? Let's get you back there. And, if there's very little time, like Lynn, remember that's that vision. Come September, prepare for that. And you can always default to mindset, right? You can always sit and just put yourself in that place of seeing the future fulfilled, feeling it, experiencing it. Where will you be? Who will be with you? What will you be doing? What will you be saying? And that's just something that is, as we know from the book, The Answer, and from everything we've learned about the power of the law of attraction, the law of vibration, all of that. That's more important than just do. It's about be, be, then do. Do from your beingness, not be from your doingness, if that makes sense. So keep that vision shining. And I find that almost every day something new pops into my vision. There's something else I've added, and it's pretty exciting because that's coming from somewhere. And if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it, right? Who was that? Henry Ford? Somebody said that. So
Mary
yeah,
Kay used to
and
say
we're all
that a
together
lot
in
too.
this. Yep.
And
So we're in this as a team, and please sometimes you're going to feel overwhelmed. It's okay. Take a breath. Pull over to the side of the road. Call somebody. Get out and sing or dance or do whatever you do to get your energy changed. Do the victory symbol or whatever, and know that you can always come back on track with your vision. Okay.
that's great, Maggie.
Anything
And
else?
then- yeah, well, there's another poll: make a mess and we'll clean it up later. We're not making enough messes, we're just,
That's
true.
true. We're too careful.
Really aren't. But sometimes you'll find somebody that's where they'll make a mess. So yeah, we'll clean it up later, but there's a mess to clean up. If we don't have anything to clean up, then we don't have anything to work
We're not
with.
doing enough. That's right.
And I always
Okay. Great job, everybody. See you next week, and I'll be in touch, and happy end of the month. Get those filter orders in, Paul.
I will. Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.